Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Claire Kemadi and this is Unheard Voices channel. If you're new to my channel, kindly subscribe, leave a comment below after watching this video, like and share my videos with friends and family to enhance Unheard Voices community in general. If you're a returning subscriber, mwah, I love you so much and thank you for supporting my channel. So the reason why I always have that introduction is because most people are more likely to watch my videos, but they don't like. And as much as I want to grow my channel, it is our channel by the end of the day, because Unheard Voices channel was started by me when I decided that I need to create a safe space for every youth to feel comfortable in their own skin, who can open up their problems and talk about what they're facing, tell me what I haven't done a video on, and actually grow and expand our knowledge in general as a youth community. So if you don't like my videos, what YouTube will do will be like, people don't like our videos, so I'm not gonna push her videos to more people so that we can grow. So basically, you not liking my videos is pushing us down. And what we're trying to do is put ourselves up by growing this community to be something greater, where youths can feel so confident in their own skin and be able to just empower themselves and be confident and actually talk these things out, because I feel like we don't talk enough and should be talking enough. So getting into our video right now, we don't talk enough about bullying. And as bullying is so common in this generation that we're in currently, we need to talk about it. Because why have we normalized bullying? Why have we normalized such a negative thing in society, where as a high schooler you just go through a lot of negativity because of bullying? Ask me, I've been through it. I've been bullied in high school, which wasn't the best experience, and that's why I decided to do a video on this. Bullying in general is such a negative thing that we have normalized in all the systems that we're in, and it shouldn't be normal, because that is such a negative thing to put on someone. People who have experienced bullying have gone through so much pain, and I can say that emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain is just so much to handle. So I decided to do a video on this because personally I was bullied in high school, and I don't want to feel like I'm the only one who went through that, because I know there are a lot of kids who went through that while they're going through kindergarten, through high school, through primary, all these levels of our education. We have gone through bullying in general, and I speak by we, not really to everyone, but most people who have interacted with. All these things are so painful to a child, so painful to a teenager, because I remember when I was experiencing bullying in high school, I had no one to talk to, no one to relate with. I just felt like I was in a constant shell, constantly being pressed, constantly being told that I'm not enough, constantly being told I'm unhealthy, constantly being told all these negative things that weighed so much heavy on my self-esteem. So I experienced bullying in high school, not even high school, in primary. And as sad as that is, that little kids nowadays can bully you. You thought kids can bully you? You haven't met kids of this day and age. These kids will literally tell you everything and anything to put you down, and that shows so much to where they're coming from. Like, didn't your parents tell you that that's so negative to tell someone? Didn't your parents tell you and raise you right to tell you that this thing that you're doing is so much negative on someone else and you shouldn't be doing it? Right now, let's talk about bullying. My personal experience is the same. So, growing up, I was a tall, skinny person. And I mean really tall for the kids. And at that time I was in kindergarten, but back in the days, we used to call it ABCs. So you used to go to like first class, second class, third class, ABC classes, and then you join the first class, now class 1. Now, when I was in nursery C, that was like the third year of my schooling ever, I was tall and I was skinny, and I remember I was taller than most of the kids in school, and they used to bully me. They were like, oh, giraffe, twiga, when mrefu sana, you're so tall, you look like this, you look like this. Like, already I was so feeling fragile, my ego so fragile, because I'm like, why are they discriminating me for being tall? I just come from a family of really tall people, and just because you haven't had your growth spurt yet doesn't mean I should have to live in fear or shame because I'm taller than everyone else. But sadly, as small child, nobody tells you what confidence is or what self-esteem is. So I used to internalize those negative comments a lot, and from that day and age, it really hurt. It really hard to be told that you're taller than everyone else, and that's something you should be ashamed of, instead of embracing your natural feature or your natural stature. I just felt so out of place. I was so not confident despite being the tallest in the class. I was just so like shrugging. I didn't even wake up. Like, I just used to shrug, looking down like this, feeling pity on myself. Fast forward to primary school, I was in class 3. A second form of bullying that I interacted with. So apparently back then, I don't know if it's still there, but I feel like back then, I'm not the other old guy, but yes, back then. In class 3, people used to discriminate me now because I had like gained weight, and I had gained weight just because I was being told I was skinny and tall, and that was negative back then. So like I used to eat, and I mean eat. I ate so much that I became chubby. And you're still growing, so it's not even chubby, just getting flesh into your body because you're growing that time. Class 3, these kids started calling me fat, overweight, telling me all these negative comments about my body, telling me how I look. And I felt so discriminated because I was like, 3 years ago you're telling me I was skinny, now I'm thick, now you're telling me I look this, that, and way. Class 3, guys, we're not even class 8, class 3, I'm already being discriminated. Don't worry, I got the better of that. And despite this, so much bullying and body shaming on me really lowered my ego back then. And I used to like hold myself so much little. Like my whole view of myself was so little. Growing is healthy. Having healing and growing and becoming your natural beautiful self is quite healthy, because holding myself back then, it was a bad road. Fast forward to class 7. Puberty, guys. Puberty had its strength. Now, for the girlies, you know what I'm talking about, when your menstruation starts kicking in and now you're feeling shy that you're now a woman, all grown, and you can bear a child, and you have just to keep to yourself, or like you have this mentality that you have to keep yourself, or it's something should be feel ashamed of. And that is such a horrible misconception. Menstruation is a natural process, and not talking about it is the issue. Because why are you telling a class 7 kid or a class 8 kid or class 6 or whichever the class that you are, and you've experienced menstruation as an early age as a girl, why should you be ashamed of it? It's a biological process, something natural. You don't see people discriminating other ones just because they haven't like maybe grown pubic hair. I know that's a bad example, but yeah, why are we putting so much shame on menstruation? It's a biological process. So if you're here and you're watching this video as a girl and you've just experienced your menstruation, welcome to femininity, welcome to womanhood. And even if you haven't experienced menstruation, you're still feminine and you're still a beautiful young lady who's just growing into her skin and growing into maturity. So just wait, your time will come. For those who have experienced menstruation and you feel like it's something to be ashamed of, don't. I need you to scratch that mentality, because it's just a biological process happening in our bodies, and you just have to embrace it. It's part of being a woman. It's part of being a feminine woman, just tapping to your energy. That's something biological, nothing to be ashamed of. And if somebody's shaming you on that, shame on them. So I had transferred from public schools, and the people don't tell you about public school. If you're going to a private school from class 1 to class 8, or even since the beginning of your schooling to the last year of your schooling, congratulations. They don't prepare you for the mental energy that you need to go to a public school. And as much as public schools, there are good public schools and there are actually bad public schools. I do not have a beef with this, but those who have gone to public schools, you know what I mean. So in class 7, I used to be not only the tallest, but I would say I was overweight. I'd label it overweight because I remember myself, I even have pictures of myself. I wasn't overweight. But to the kids who were there, who were just tiny and trying to grow at the time, they always saw me as the bigger girl. So I remember I just had a lot of issues mentally when it came to my body and accepting how I looked. I really had some insecurities when it came to my body because of how people perceived me and how people told me I was looking. So like I remember this guy Let's call him Glass. Glass was an actual bully who constantly told me that I was fat, that I was unhealthy, that I looked so disgusting. And this is a class 7 kid. Class 7 kid. If you're a parent and you're watching this, I need you to check up on your children, on your teenagers, ask them how they've been, because you never know what these people are going through the school systems. Yes, we are learning, we are getting our education, but there are things we interact with socially that are not part of the education system and really hurts us. Like bullying, the ghetto. So in class 7, I was also bullied for being overweight, being the taller kid. Class 8, the same thing, and it really weighed down on my mental health and my physical health. I just felt so out of touch with my whole self. I didn't really like accepting myself for who I am back then. And it really weighed me down throughout class 7 and 8, and even through high school. Just bullying, I highly discourage, because it really puts someone's self-esteem down. And we're talking on the page of insecurities. As much as human beings, we do have that flawed part of ourselves that we constantly look for deformities that aren't there, or constantly question ourselves for looking how we are or acting the way we are. And it's really sad, because why should we have insecurities? You did not know the color was red until you were told it was red. So you weren't told it was an insecurity until the world or the general society just told you that is something you should be insecure about. I remember there were dark-skinned ladies who are constantly being discriminated of being dark-skinned. Like, wanaambiwa wanakaa vibaya, they were being told they look ugly, they look bad, their skin is so out of shape, out of tint. I don't even know what was wrong with children, because why were you telling that innocent people? And I remember this girl used to be so beautiful. Not used to be, she still is. She's so beautiful, a dark-skinned, beautiful lady. And I'm not saying she's just beautiful just because of her dark skin or her dark skin is beautiful. No. Generally, as a person, she was beautiful. And she used to have so much insecurities of her skin, constantly telling me, Claire, I wish I had your skin, because you don't know what it feels like living as a dark-skinned lady who's constantly being discriminated. And that made me really sad. I was like 15 years old. Hearing that from a fellow lady who was beautiful regardless of her skin, beautiful because of her skin, beautiful because of the person she is. Because why do we have to base beauty on what you look physically? Whether you're dark skin, whether you're light skin, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're brown, you're beautiful. So I don't know why we have to put those standards of beauty that really scar young teenagers, young women, young men in general, just to fit a certain set of standard of beauty. So my experience with bullying is just that I really underwent a lot of body shaming back then, and I wouldn't want to hear another young lady or another young man telling me how they were bullied for looking a certain way or coming from a certain background. We need to stop normalizing that. People's kids are hurting because of that. And this issue of bullying is the same reason why most people in our current society are so much full of insecurities, because from a young age you have taught these kids that being fat is something negative. Children learn the smallest bit and become smart. So what you teach them is how they apply it. And I don't want to get too deep into bullying, but you have heard my story, and I hope it brings you comfort in the basis that you don't have to feel afraid, you don't have to feel ashamed that you underwent bullying. And as much as this is a short story for me and my experience of bullying, and how I overcame it is just genuinely accepting myself for being who I am and being in my body, and accepting that I do have these flaws, but they're beautiful in my own way. Accepting myself for the person that I am and the person that I could become is what made me appreciate myself. And I overcame bullying by standing up for myself. I stood up for myself and told my bullies enough was enough. And every time somebody says something negative about me, I'd throw it a comeback and tell them right there and then that they should be ashamed for doing that to me. So if you're a person who is undergoing bullying, share your story with us. I'll make another video if you guys want it. I'll make another video on bullying if it's a must. And if you guys share your stories for me, you share your stories to me, I will become the story. I'll tell you stories, because I feel like bullying is something we don't talk much about and it needs to be talked about. Do leave a comment on your personal experience of bullying or your own story, and I'll share it, and I'll share my own thoughts on the same. And I have to do a part 2 of this video. I will, just for you guys. That is all for today. See you in the next video. Bye.